Check this out, guys. So this hostel that I just booked here, it's like an old hotel, and they run it like a hostel here. So this is have no idea whose stuff this is. It's basically just 3 beds in a room here. Hey guys, I am taking a walk over by a restaurant that I just went to here, and I'll give you guys some info on my entry into Bali, Denpasar Airport, and Kuta, and what happened last night. Nothing too crazy, but this is a straight near the beach here. This where you see all these little tourist shops and stuff like that. Then up on the beach, you've got all the umbrellas and the surf rentals and things like that. So here we have the Circle K, 2 Circle Ks here, one at this hotel, one at the other hotel. We got a Starbucks, several Starbucks in town, so there is some development here in Kuta. But it's not, the first thing I noticed here was that it's definitely not up to Thailand standards as a vacation destination, but it's, kind of a little bit more primitive there. So the reason I chose this destination here is that it's near the airport. That's the primary reason there. It is like a surf beach here. But just the airport, so convenient for me to get the immigration done. And I ended up walking to my hotel. So, right, convenient. I mean, if you don't mind that, 2 miles, give or take, I don't mind that. I've got my backpacker. Granted, it's better to walk without the backpack. I usually walk between 2 and 10 miles a day, every day. Probably my average is like maybe 4, something like that. So, and the other reason I walked is that the taxis are kind of a rip-off, like $10, $15, $20, something like that. $20 to walk 2 miles, So, with respect to the entry, the flight itself and the entry into Indonesia, not too crazy difficult. I had a layover, Scoot Airlines, from Ho Chi Minh City to Singapore, and then from Singapore to Denpasar, Bali, right? So, which is, I'm sure everyone is familiar with Bali as one of the major tourist destinations in Southeast Asia, right? So it's kind of like a little bit of overblown destination here. I know. So the airport is like right there, right? So the flight, what happened with the flight there is that I got held because of my luggage, right? So carry-on luggage, I had 13 kg, but the limit was 10 kg. So I was like 6 pounds, so I was a big amount of weight over the limit there. So what I actually did was I threw away one of my winter clothing outfits, just tossed it. Some toiletries, 1 pair of socks, 1 pair of underwear that was older, and my paddle for my boat, which part of it got lost. So I can't find that, so I just went ahead and tossed the rest of the paddle there and put some other things in my pocket, cleared the 6 pounds right off. So it was right at 22 pounds. And it's nice to have that extra, amount of weight gone there for when I need to do something like leave the airport and walk to my hotel, right? Here's my new guest house, guys, that I just checked into. So for immigration into Bali, I'll tell you what my plan was. I had originally tried to pay for the e-visa for 30 days on the internet. My debit card wouldn't work there. I think it's just my problem. I don't think it's a problem with the site. And that was from Vietnam. So I think you have to be in another country to get the e-visa. So got the visa on arrival. Flew in, exited Vietnam immigration. I stayed within the airport of Singapore, didn't pass there. Then I proceeded to get the visa on arrival. You pay at the counter $35 US. I paid in US dollars. You can also pay in other currencies as well. They do an exchange there. I think euros or Indonesian rupiah. I went to immigration, and I did have, let's see, he asked me, how long are you going to stay? 30 days? Okay, here you are, right, stamp. That's it, right. The guy that I was went to see, he was going kind of fast. He didn't ask any questions. So there's a big lot of people there. Sometimes they do stop people, my situation there's two things actually that I want to mention for immigration. So number one, my passport is damaged, right? Because I've been traveling for 4 years, right? So one time it got wet. Some of the pages were damaged towards the back, right? So they don't seem to be minding that. Other people have been stopped for this. So eventually I'm going to have to replace that passport, right? But they probably didn't want to cause me a problem, So got that done, stamp, went out. Customs declaration, you need to declare that online. So there's a form that the airlines sent me, Scoot Airline. And so got that done. I did have a stop at Customs. So the guy from Customs, he was pretty nice, I think what they're doing there is they're stopping people with backpacks. That's the only, indicator as to what they're, let some people go by, stop some people. So he searched my bag there. He asked me where I was staying. I showed him my reservation at the hostel there. So that took about 10 minutes. Got out of that. When you exit the airport at Bali, there's a bunch of taxi drivers waiting for you to overcharge you. Their SIM card providers. So with respect to the SIM, it's kind of overpriced at the airport. So that's what I heard. So I didn't get that. But what I did do, I wanted to take the bus. So the bus was late there. What happened with the bus there is that there's supposed to be a bus that goes to Kuta, right? Kuta is about 2 miles away, 2.5 miles away from the airport. So I waited for the bus, and I met this local lady. She was waiting for the bus. She said I was supposed to be here at 7:30. I'm just waiting there. So what the hell? Maybe I'll just walk to Kuta. Lady directed me to how to walk out of the airport. So I'm just walking, and the city isn't far. It's like a couple hundred feet away. She said it was safe, so I started walking there, and I saw the SIM card seller there, and I went ahead and bought the Axia brand SIM card for like $6 US. I just bought like 8 GB worth of data. So I'm going to renew that online. What usually happens there is that you can renew the plan on the internet for a lower price. So get the actual SIM from the person, then renew it later on. You don't have to go back to them to pay the same price, So got that done, continued walking north. The airport is in Denpasar South. It's actually borders on Kuta. Walking north, and I ran into all the streets with the hotels and things like that, the bars and past Starbucks and things like that. Very easy to walk, It's kind of really hot and humid here. That's the only negative there. So I showed up at my hostel, checked in, Had to go to the ATM, which is around the corner from the hostel. Got some cash because I didn't have quite enough cash left over. One of the first things I noticed here in Bali was that they don't have those little carts that are around like you see in Thailand and Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia. They have that where it's a little, it's an old lady selling food in a cart. Probably what happened there was that people were getting sick from the street food, so that they were going and saying, oh, I went to Bali and I got sick from food poisoning. I don't get sick like this, so I guess my stomach's pretty strong there, so. But now I'm having trouble finding food to eat. So I found a restaurant yesterday. There just doesn't seem to be, there's one here, right? One of these, strangely, food, in Thailand, it's on every corner, So you got McDonald's back there. You got this little local restaurant here that I just stopped by. I'm probably going to go to lunch there. On my way back from the store here.